There we go. So 3 questions on the board. Question 1, what is the arrow pointing to? Question 2, what type of cell am I? Though I think I've muddled them the other way round. So if it comes up the other way, bear with it. And then question 3, what does the I stand for in the equation? Okay, give you a few minutes to have a look at that. Remember, if you have any questions, I've got Miss McGinley knocking around in the Q&A area. She can answer them for you. I hope you're all well. This is going to be a recap of cells, so specialised cells and animal and plant cells. Last week you did the, trying to think what we did. You did microscopes. I will say now, if you keep pressing the hand button that does nothing, I am in no qualms of telling Miss McKinley to boot you out because it gets annoying. So don't do it. Right. I'm going to give it another minute just because I want to wait. We will start with some polls, as I said, so there'll be some multiple choice questions based on the ones on the board. So have a think about your answers. Excuse me if I do the dooby-dooby-dooby-doo, it's just my waiting around thing. Okay, right, I am going to get started as the numbers do not seem to be going up. So I'm going to launch my first poll. Okay, and I'm going to have to play around to get it the right one. Here we go. So on the question 1, bottom left, what is the big red arrow pointing to? Is it the cell membrane? Is it the nucleus? Is it the cytoplasm, or is it the cell wall? And I have to say, most of you are doing awesome on this. In fact, you are doing super, super speedy that we probably won't have to wait that long.
Miss, while we are waiting, 1,
yeah.
We've already had compliments on the hat.
Thank you.
And 2, some people are saying, haven't we done this already? So I've just typing explaining that it's a revision lesson.
Yeah.
So it will be familiar.
Before, the questions are slightly different, and it's a review of cells that we've done before. It's going to be slightly different, and I'm going to try and give you some revision tips and sort of quizzes with less information than we've got on the board at the minute. So yes, it's a repeat of stuff you've done before, but we want to make sure that you're getting it and that you understand it and that you're all good. Right, I'm going to end the poll on question 1, and I'm going to share, because 89% of you correctly know that that big blue blob in the middle of an animal cell is the nucleus. So well done, you guys. Right, I'm going to go on straight on to the next question. Launch poll. You may have to move your window out of the way so you can see. I move it on my screen, but I don't think it does it necessarily on yours. What type of cell is the big picture at the top? Is it a nerve cell, a palisade cell, a root hair cell, or a red blood cell? And this was meant to be slightly trickier, but you're all doing well. You're all awesome. You know that, right, Year 7? You're all awesome. Okay, going to give it a little bit longer, another 4 seconds. Okay. I'm going to end that one then. I'm going to share the result with you. And 67% of you got that was the root hair cell, so well done. I can see why 17% of you might have thought palisade. Both are found in the plant. The clue is actually, if you look at the picture, it does say root hair on it. So sometimes look at the pictures you're given. And then nerve cell, again, they do have a weird shape a bit similar to this, so I could see why you might get that. Okay, last poll on this slide. Okay, and what does the I stand for in that equation? Is it image, identify, index, or I? Thought I'd throw I in, as it does say I. Obviously that was a throw in. Again, you lot are awesome. Or should I go pika, pika, pika? Hello, miss.
Hi. Some students still can't see the poll, as always. So yeah, we just continue reading out all the answers as you're doing.
Yeah, if you can't see the poll, I'll read out the possible options for you and have a go. And then if you've got it right, you can do a little woohoo in your own little head, or at your family or your pet cat or whatever. Okay, I'm going to end that one there. And the correct answer, as shown, majority poll answer was image. So we have I is image, we have A is actual size, so that's its size in real life, and then M for magnification. Okay, I'm going to hit stop share, and I'm going to close off the poll for the minute because that's my first 3 polls done, and I'm going to click on. So, as I said, we are going to look a bit at revision. And the main thing we're going to look at, we're looking at revising. We've done Microscope, so it's cells and all that bit. It's stuff that you actually need throughout year 7 and all the way through. I'm just trying to check if I'm recording. I am recording, sorry about that. I couldn't see the little red dot. Okay, so as it says, practice, it makes perfect. Anyone out there who does music, you know you practice and practice and practice playing the keyboard over and over again so that you can get good at it. Revision's kind of the same thing, but it shouldn't stress you out. It should be nice, simple and clear, and something that you do small chunks of. So I always say 15-20 minutes of revision is enough. You don't want to overdo it because it won't go in and you'll be wasting your time. Okay, so we're going to look at some things to do with that. You will get shared with this by your teachers today. This is part of the little tick list that I've made for you. So during these webinar lessons, you have been told the difference between cells, tissues, organs and organ systems, and you should be able to tell us what a cell is, what a tissue is, an organ, and then an organ system, and should hopefully be able to give some examples. You should, and I know you all can do this because you all did amazingly on this last week, label the different parts of the light microscope. So stage, objective, lens, all those bits. And then you are also awesome at describing what they do. Function is the fancy word for what they do. And then how to use it. Again, I know from my class that you were all really good at describing how to put the specimen on the slide, use the coarse focus dial to move it, then the fine coarse dial. So you're all awesome for that. Then you need to be able to do the calculation and then comparing the advantages. And then there is some other bits. So labeling the animal cell, labeling the plant cell, naming the specialized cells, saying what the different bits do. So there's slightly more than this. What I would suggest you do as part of your lesson this week is go through and red, amber, green this. So if you think I can definitely define cells, colour it red. You know, you don't have to go back over it. You've nailed it. It's good. It's done. Don't worry about it. If, however, you get to label an animal cell and you don't think you can do it, make it red. Or if you think you can label parts of a plant cell, then colour it amber. So go through, colour it, share it with your teacher, and then they'll know how to give you feedback and how to guide you to make those little bits better. And hopefully, by the end of it, you'll have everything nice and coloured in green. Okay, anyone got any questions on that? I'm just going to throw it out there before I move on from the tick list. I'm watching little Miss McKinley's microphone to see if there's any questions popping up on tick list use.
It's just more compliments on the hat, I'll be honest.
Okay, thank you, Miss. Before I move on. Okay, so that's something you can use to help your revision. Okay, this is my key messages for you, especially at the moment. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, we're not going to jump down your throats. We want you asking because it's our jobs to help you. And if you don't share your worries, you might get a bit stressed and then that's going to not help you. And you can ask other pupils in your form, in your class, because I know you all talk and there's email, or you can ask a teacher. And that doesn't just go for science revision, by the way, it goes for life in general. Everyone's always here to help. So I just wanted to put that out there. Right, some ideas for your revision. Okay, and I know that this is a long list, but not all of these work for everyone. Okay, one thing you can do is make your own recording. So you can record your voice or record a video of you saying stuff, or you could record like a sound bite and then play it back. Yes, miss?
Are you able to go back to the tick list slide for a second?
Yes. There we go.
I don't see it.
What's up, miss?
Oh no, that's fine, thank you.
Do I need to go, can I go forward again or?
I assume so. Somebody just asked to go back to the tick list slide for a second.
Shared the tick list, so and there's slightly more of it, so it will be in your Google Classroom. So do not worry about trying to write it all down because you'd be here for years and it's pointless. Okay, right. You can use BBC Bite Size, you can use these wonderful YouTube webinar videos that we're doing, and YouTube actually is really good for lots of videos. You could make your own quiz, like card matching, so you could make a question on one side, the answer on the other. You could look at past paper questions, we've been providing them, and so you've had practice of that. You can make mind maps and posters, and you could use post-it notes to make mind maps. You can make your revision cards. Though I would say with revision cards, keep the amount on them small and don't just write them and put them in a corner and forget them. Write them out and then use them, otherwise completely pointless doing it. Highlighting is awesome. I love a good highlighter. So highlighting notes, colour coordinating. If it's about animal cells, you could pick a colour. If it's about plant cells, you could pick another colour. If it links forward, you could have colours. So highlighting. PowerPoint presentations, you could do that. So you could go through and make slides. Working in groups, you can still do that. So someone could make a quiz and you could all try it. You could try teaching your parents or your friends or your brothers and sisters. And my favourite one is writing songs. Now, if you're in my class, you'll know I use songs on YouTube a lot. So it's always worth trying to find songs, but also write your own. They're absolutely good fun. My little summary of all that before I actually get into the content is positive attitude. Don't think you can't do it. You can. You're all amazing and you're all awesome. If you wanted to, make a revision timetable, though I'm not suggesting you do that right now, Year 7, because you've done lots of work on this and I don't think you need to. But later on in Year 9, Year 10, you might want to do that. Be honest with yourself and plan relaxation. Do not work too hard. I really, really like that. And then work for small chunks, so 20, 25 minutes and take breaks. And as I said, use a variety of revision tools. So use songs, use post-it notes everywhere, mind maps, whatever works for you. And just to reiterate again, don't be afraid to ask for help. And yes, I did put this slide on twice on purpose. Okay, just because I think it's a really important message for you all. So here's my revision bit, and you will notice that there are 2 pictures on the board, and I'm going to very, very, very quickly run through the key content. Okay, so we have a nucleus, which is found in both the animal and the plant cell. The nucleus contains the DNA. We have the cytoplasm found in both the animal and plant cell. The cytoplasm is where the chemical reactions happen, and that is a jelly-like substance. So jelly-like substance, chemical reaction. We have the cell membrane, and this one's really important. It is the inner one on the plant and it is on an animal. This is what lets things in and out of the cell. We then have the mitochondria, which is found in both, and that's where respiration happens, the release of energy. And again, that word release, not make, we don't make energy, we release energy. Really important for both. Then we have 3 bits that are only in the plant cell. And this should all be recapped, by the way. We have the vacuole, which is this big bit in the middle, and it's filled with cell sap, okay, and that helps keep the shape of the plant cell. We then have these green chloroplasts, and they're green because of chlorophyll, and that is where photosynthesis happens. And we then have the cell wall, which is on the outside of the plant cell, and that is made from cellulose, excuse my accent, and that keeps the plant cell's shape. Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about this slide. So I'm going to look at my little phone, because I've got it here, and I'm going to give you a minute to actually look at the picture, learn the different parts, what's in the animal, what's in the plant, what's in both. You've got about a minute. And then I'm going to change the slide and I'm going to poll you on it. If you've got any questions, ask them now.
We have a question. What are the faint dots? I assume meaning in the
The faint dots that are not labelled are the ribosomes, and well spotted that I'd missed that one off because it didn't have a label. And the ribosomes are where proteins are made. Okay, so Excuse me 1 second, I'm emailing a year 7 from my class. Keep studying. I apologise for that. They are having trouble getting in the webinar. Oh, I've moved on already. I was going to give you a warning, but I've moved on. Now, we got quiz time based on that slide. Let's see how we do. Are you all ready? Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I did the dun, dun, dun. It's like I can't remember the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music. Right. The question coming up on the board is, which parts are found in the animal and plant cell? Are they the nucleus, the cell membrane and the cytoplasm? Are they the nucleus, the cell wall and the cytoplasm? The nucleus, the chloroplast and the vacuole? Or the cytoplasm, the ribosome and the cell wall? And as I said, I'm being really mean because I'm not giving you the picture, which is why I was asking you to study it. I'll read that out again for you lovelies. Which parts are found in the animal and the plant cell? Is it the nucleus, the cell membrane and the cytoplasm? Or the nucleus, the cell wall and the cytoplasm? The nucleus, the chloroplast and the vacuole? Or the cytoplasm, the ribosome and the cell wall? Okay, and I'm going to end that there because most of you have actually voted. And I'm going to share because 79% of you spot on got nucleus, cell membrane, cytoplasm. Well done. Be careful, those of you who did say cell wall. Cell wall is the plant one only. Okay. Are we ready for the next question? Poll 5. Where does respiration take place? Is it in the nucleus, in the ribosomes, in the cell wall, or in the mitochondria? Where does respiration take place? The nucleus, the ribosome, the cell wall, or the mitochondria? I think some of you are having to think a little bit more about this. I did go quickly through that slide. If this is something you're not sure of, then this might be highlighting something to look at, what the different bits of the animal and plant cell do. Okay, I'm going to give it 3 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And I'm ending it there and I'm sharing. And 59% of you got mitochondria and you are spot on. So respiration takes place in the mitochondria. The ribosomes make proteins and the nucleus is the control center, okay? They are the terms that we'd like you using. If I ever see anyone write brain in my class, I will get very cranky with you and you'll get cranky, sad, angry faces. Okay, and we're going to move on to my last poll on this. Are we ready? Where does photosynthesis take place? Is it the nucleus, the chloroplast, the vacuole, or the mitochondria? Remember, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask Miss McKinley. Okay, I'm going to give it a few more seconds, then I'm going to end the poll because a lot of you have already answered. Okay, and I'm going to share again because correctly 74% of you, majority of you got that it's the chloroplast. So whoop, 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 as I knew you're all awesome. The vacuole is cell sap, and just a reminder, the nucleus is the control center. So chloroplast correctly identified as the site of photosynthesis. Okay, and let me just check my little book. We've got quite a few polls today, by the way, lovelies. Right, I'm going to move it on. So, specialized cells, and just to make sure we've got the heading, specialized cells are the ones that are adapted to make them better at their job. And we've got quite a few on this little slide, and I'm going to whiz through them all very, very quickly, because I'm aware that we've not got that much longer left, actually. This one up here is the ciliated epithelial cell. Okay, and this is the one with the tiny little hairs that beat the little egg along the fallopian tube or the mucus up your trachea. Okay, so their adaptation is they've got these little twiggly bits. We have the nerve cell here, which is longs, and it carries electrical impulses. And just as a side note, that black blob in the middle, that's a nucleus. Just in case you ever get asked anything like that, it's the nucleus. And then this would all be cytoplasm, and then that would be the cell membrane going around the side. And they transfer electrical impulses. My favourite, the red blood cell, refresher shaped, no nucleus, transports oxygen around the body. Over here, we've got the root hair cell. Root is the key word here, not hair. Hair is because they're very thin, like hair. Root, though, because they're in the ground and they absorb water and they have a large surface area to do so. Down in this bottom right corner, we've got the sperm with its wonderful tail to allow it to swim. It's got lots of mitochondria in the body so that it can release energy to allow it to swim. And then it's got enzymes in the head to get through the egg, as well as half the DNA from dad, so that when you have an offspring, they get half their genetic information from here. This one down here that I've got my mouse on is the Parasite Cell, and you should notice it's green, so that should give you a clue that that is for photosynthesis, and it has lots of chloroplasts for photosynthesis, and is basically your plant cell that you learned earlier. Here we have got our muscle cells that contract and relax, and they have lots of mitochondria to release energy to allow them to contract and relax, and they've got little filaments that allow them to actually change their shape. And then over here we've got the xylem and the phloem. Xylem is this one here. The water goes in one direction only. There are no gaps between the cells, and it's actually made of dead cells so that it's nice and strong and hollow to transport water. This one here, the last one, is the phloem, and it goes in both directions because it transports food and glucose around from like the leaves to the roots, or the roots to the leaves, and it goes everywhere. Right, I don't know if you need a minute to study these pictures or remember what I've just said, or shall we go straight on? I think I'm going to be mean and go straight on. Are you ready? Round 2. What time is it? It's quiz time. This is linking in, by the way, to the revision idea of doing little quizzes. So study something and then answer a few questions on it. Okay, I've just launched a poll. Which specialized cell has a tail to swim? Is it the nerve cell, the muscle cell, the root hair cell, or the sperm cell? Which one has a tail for swimming? Dooby-dooby-doo. Okay, we seem to have stopped voting. I'm going to give it another 3 or 4 seconds. I'm aware I probably went quite quickly through those answers, but there we go. Okay, and 95% of you got that it's the sperm cell. So whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the next one. I've done 3 questions for each topic. Which specialized cell has got lots of chloroplasts? Is it the red blood cell? Is it the root hair cell? Is it the Parasite cell, or is it the sperm cell? So which one has got lots and lots of chloroplasts? Remember, if you're haven't got the polls, just answer them in your head and give yourself a whoop whoop when you get them correct. Okay, and again, I'm going to give it a few seconds and then we're going to end the poll. Okay, going to end it now, and I'm going to share. So slightly more mixed, but again, majority correct with Parasite cell. The root hair cell doesn't need chloroplasts. Okay, you find it under the ground, it's in the roots of the plant, so it won't need access to chloroplasts for photosynthesis. That would be my big tip on that. Okay, and red blood cells and sperm cells are animal cells, and we don't photosynthesize, only plants do. Okay, next poll. Okay, my favourite one, hopefully we're all getting this. Which specialised cell has got no nucleus? Is it the red blood cell, the xylem, the muscle cell, or the nerve cell? And this really gives me a chance to see who listens and remembers which one was my favourite cell. Mahahaha. Anyone who's wondering how long we have left, it's not that much longer. I just need to very quickly after this remind you of diffusion and osmosis, and then we've got to get another quiz and then tell you about your work for this week. Okay, I'm going to end that poll there, and because you're all awesome, you will see that you all remembered that my favourite one, which has no nucleus, is the red blood cell. Whoop, whoop. Okay, moving us on. Diffusion and osmosis. Okay, now I know you're all great on knowing what diffusion is and what osmosis is, but sometimes we can get them muddled. So I want to give some clear bits about how they're the same, how they're different, and the definitions. Okay, so diffusion is the movement of particles from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration across a gradient. Water, or osmosis, sorry, is the movement of water molecules from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration through or across a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so you can't write osmosis as diffusion because it's not. The key thing that makes them different is that osmosis is the movement of water molecules through the semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so diffusion, movement from high to low, that's it, across a gradient. Osmosis, movement from high to low of water through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, so diffusion can happen in liquids and gases, whereas osmosis is just water, so a liquid. Both of these don't require any energy, they're passive, so they will just happen. Water will just osmose from high to low. That's why you don't leave your chips or your potatoes in a saucepan full of water and salt, because all the water will seep out of the potatoes, just so you know. And diffusion will happen naturally, passively, like when somebody lets a naughty smelly fart rip and it goes across your house and you can smell it for ages. Not that that happens. Okay, so diffusion, movement of liquids and gases. Water is osmosis, movement of water, both from high to low. Water through the semi-permeable membrane. Neither of them require energy, they're both passive, and both of them go from high to low. And hopefully I've been clear on that. Has anyone got any questions about diffusion and osmosis before I move on to the final 3 questions, which are about diffusion and osmosis? If you have a question, type it in the box, because the hand thing doesn't work. Click on the hand thing and I will boot you. One person's already on my list to get booted. Nope. Doesn't look like we've got any questions. So I am going to move us on. Yet again, we have quiz time. So, question 1. Well, not question 1. And these ones are quite nice. They're yes or no, it's 50% chance. Do osmosis and diffusion require energy to happen? Do they require any energy to be put in? Yes or no? Dooby 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 doo. Okay. That was very, very quick, by the way, majority of you. I'm going to give it another 6 seconds and then I'm going to end the poll. 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to share, because 72% of you went no, which is correct. They do not require any energy, they are passive, and they will just happen. Excellent work. Right, next one. And again, I've got 2 answers. Which process occurs, fancy words here, through a semi-permeable membrane, osmosis or diffusion? So which one goes through a semi-permeable membrane? Dooby 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 doo. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds on this one because you're super, 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 super fast. 3, 2, 1. And excellent work, lovelies. Osmosis was the correct answer. The movement of water occurs through the semi-permeable membrane. Diffusion can just happen through the air. It does not need a semi-permeable membrane. My last question, are we all ready? I would do a little drum roll, but I might knock stuff off. Which process occurs in liquids and gases? Is it diffusion or osmosis? So which one is in liquids and gases? That was me giving a little drum roll. You're all doing super awesome, by the way. I'm going to give it another 10 seconds and then we're going to finish this poll. I can't make these ears wiggle, I'm afraid. Just thought I'd try. No. They do move if I do that. There we go, I'll do that for a bit. Right, okay, I'm going to end the poll. And I'm going to share. Because again, you are all awesome. 85% of you recognise that diffusion is liquids and gases. Osmosis is a liquid and it's only water. Okay, so well done, my lovelies. Okay, what I just want to put up is this slide here. Thank you, Year 7, because you have been turning up every week to watch the webinars and see my silly hats and have been working really, really hard. And I just wanted to say thank you from me and the science department for being super duper. Now, to let you know what's going to happen this week, you're going to get shared the little tick lists and the video of the webinar and these slides, so you can have a look at them. And then later in the week, probably tomorrow, I'm going to share a Google quiz form with you. And the key there is quiz. Miss, you've gone unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yes, very quickly. Had a question earlier just about, so what exactly in the slides?
Yeah.
Do they need to do like all of the questions on the slides, so including the ones that we've already gone over in the webinar?
No, so the slides are going to just be there for you to look at. So you can look at the picture of, hang on, if I go back. So you've got like the picture there. You can use the slides to look at that and study it. But there's nothing on the slides this week for you to do. Okay, your main tasks are going to be to have a look at the tick list and red, amber, green it and share it with your teachers so that you know what your little gaps are, and then to have a go at the Google quiz that I'm going to send round that will be multiple choice, much like the polls you've just done. Okay, and that will probably be in your classrooms tomorrow because I've still got to make it. Okay, blame the Pikachu hat for that one, that it's not going to be there straight away, but you will have the tick lists hopefully straight away to crack on with and go through. Now, does anyone have any questions, you amazing lot?
Yes.
Yep.
Is the quiz an assessment?
No, it's a quiz. I'm being very careful with the language I'm using. I'm not using the term assessment because it's not an assessment, it's a quiz. The idea of this quiz is, like the polls there, you saw 80–90% of you get it right. It shows you've learned something. So the quiz is so you can go and go, yes, I get animal cells, or, oh, I don't get plant cell, I'll look at that. Okay, because you've got a bit of time, I think, next week to have a look back at stuff. So it's more so you can see that you have learnt something during these last 4 or 5 weeks of webinars, rather than going, oh, do I actually get anything from this? Was it all a waste of time? But it is a pure quiz, not an assessment.
Thank you for that. Another question.
Yep.
Are there any science things for enrichment?
There is a science day for enrichment. It is going to be called Kitchen Science. I'm not sure how much I'm meant to share on that, but we have a day allotted where you will see my face again. You'll see Miss McKinley's face and a few other members of the department being silly in our homes doing sciencey stuff. But you will get more information about that. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll just sit here going, no, no, no.
Yes. So, will the webinar be an enrichment week? Oh no, so we won't have a science webinar like this, will we?
This is the last webinar, which is why I wanted to say thank you to you all for coming. Okay, this is the last year 7 Sciencey webinar. There will be webinars in science, but it's enrichment stuff, so it's not like this.
And was there an email sent about enrichment? I'm not sure if there has been one sent yet, but there will be.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's been sent yet. I think they're still finalising everything, which is why I'm being very vague with you on it all. But there will be. Okay, I'm going to stop recording, but do keep the questions coming.
We just have lots of thank yous.
Oh.